Good, guys? It looks like my camera's upside down, which is weird. OBS always does that. Let me fix that thing. But man, good morning to you guys, man. Hope all is well. See if I can rotate that thing. There we go. Put it back. We're back in business, man. Good morning to you guys, man. Happy Friday, man. I've been having a lot of fun, man, just conversing about all of our excitement for this new game dropping July 16th and 19th, respectively. Let me fix this thing, man. There we go. I think I'm in there. Yep. Yes, sir, man. Top of the morning. Started about 10 minutes earlier. Trying to knock some things out for the week, man, so I can get it cracking, man. But yeah, we had a really good discussion yesterday, man, just talking about all of the things regarding what we thought EA would, potentially drop in their Dynasty deep dive, which I believe is going to drop next week. Eric Rayweather also said that he believes it'll drop next week. So I'm looking forward to that, man. But yeah, man, shout out to you guys, man. We had about 300 and something viewers yesterday, man. Really, you guys really showed up and poured in and chimed in and had a lot of great ideas pertaining to what you thought would be in the college game, you dig? So got a little poll up this morning. Today we're going to be talking about couple different things, but mainly the topic of cultivating your program. This is actually going to be, for me, one of the more exciting conversations to have, because when I think about why we buy this game, it's because we like the journey of building, you know what I'm saying? Being builders and cultivating something that becomes a successful program based on all of the decisions that we make over time, right? So yeah, I have a poll up. It's about choosing your coaching style. Of course, we know it's 3 in the game. We're going to have recruiter, motivator, and tactician. And so really interested to see how those skill trees are going to look, what parts of the game each coaching style will actually impact positively or negatively. Who knows, But so for me, I think right now, I may be leaning toward either motivator or recruiter. Tactician, I have to see, but I think that'll be one of the reasons. I think that's really one of the reasons why head coaches hire offensive and defensive coordinators, is because of their tactics, their tactics, their strategy, their style, and how they can provide an extra bird's eye view. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, welcome, guys. We'll get into all of that. Got a lot to talk about. Excuse me. And subscribe to the channel, man. Like the video. Go ahead and do so now if you're in the building. Like I said, we got about 14 new subscribers yesterday. I'm still at 1,500, man. We're on the road to 5K. So definitely show some love there, man. Yeah, and chime in, man. Chime in. Let me know your thoughts as we have this discussion about, let me take this starting soon off because we already started, right? So what I have on the screen now, guys, is this is a NC State documentary, basically an all-access documentary, kind of showcasing their build-up from spring practice. I think this is in 2022. They ended up having a really good season. Not as good as last year's, but this is basically their video of how they, how they prepare. You get to see the behind the scenes on how these players actually go to practice and go to work, how they gel, the dedication that they have to have year round just to have a successful fall. And so I love watching these kind of videos, man, because it really gives you the insight on how a coach thinks. It gives you the insight on how players really have to approach the game, especially once they become upperclassmen. They're responsible for not only just playing, but also being leaders on the team, coaches on the field. So these are the things that I kind of like to dive into. like I said, I'm a former athlete. So these are the things that, always drive me as a lifelong skill. They're lifelong principles you learn in sports. So this is one of the things I just wanted to post up as we're kind of talking about cultivating a program. You kind of get to see the visual of, NC State's program and how they develop and how they get there, man. Jeffrey, good morning, bro. Appreciate you joining the stream and chatting away, man. Good morning to you. Happy Friday. If you haven't cast your vote yet, up at the top, what coaching style will you be? Are you going to be a recruiter, motivator, or tactician? Let me know, man. Let me know at the top. All right, guys. Let's get right into it, man. So when we're talking about building programs, you know what I'm saying, picking your school, most college coaches, when they come into these programs, the first thing that they establish is what their program standard is going to look like. You know what I'm saying? They're going to talk about, they're going to hold these press conferences. They're going to be talking about changing the standard, what their mantras are, developing and having a culture. What culture do they come from as coaches? And they often sit and talk about, they probably come up with like 3 program standards. So it'll be like toughness. Let's see, what's 3? Toughness. Speed. I don't know. Toughness, speed, and leadership. I don't know. Or toughness, fast, and leadership. So those would be like their standards that they come in with. And what that does, it already ingrains into the mentality of all their players, how they're going to play, how their program is going to display their play style. So if you look at like Brian Kelly, every school he goes to, he tries to make a wide open offense. Or Urban Meyer, for example, anywhere he went, he brought his style of play. From Utah to Florida to Ohio State. It's about taking and creating your culture and bringing that to wherever you go. So when we're choosing these schools, man, like I said, when you're choosing the style of coach you want to be, I think that sets the precedent. So let's say you're going to choose recruiter, right? Of course, that's the obvious one I think everybody wants to choose, because like you want to go get those blue chippers, man. You want to go get those good players that's going to change the direction of your program. And I actually like motivator, though, because I think motivator is the development side of these players. So we got to take that into account, man. When this game drops and you're getting all these new guys and new players on your team, getting them to your school is one thing. But can you keep them? Can you develop them to become better players? What is the essence of why your school is different from others, right? Can they get there and become, I think one of the pitches in EA Sports College Football is the pro potential. Can you develop pro players? So of course that's, how they produce on the field, but that's one thing. Shout out to everybody in the room. Let me reset the room real quick. Happy Friday to you guys, man. Go ahead and subscribe, like the channel, like this video, subscribe to the channel. And we're talking how we're going to build, how we're going to cultivate our Dynasty programs, man. So going back to, being a motivator, I think that's the one I may most likely choose. Being a recruiter, I will say, yeah, that's probably the most popular one. Being a tactician, though. Going back to that, your coaching style, does that impact how they actually execute the plays? Is that something that's going to actually boost your players on the field? I don't know. We'll have to see when they break all this information down. But for me, I think my ideal thing would be head coach. Myself would be a motivator, get a recruiter, then get a tactician. Do you want a balanced state of mind on your coaching staff? Just something to think about, man. Let me know what you guys think about that. When it comes to your assistants, do you want it to be like a balanced coaching staff? Do you want to have like, I heard that you can stack. So if you get 3 recruiters, if your head coach, as the head coach is a recruiter, the OC and DC are both recruiters, you can stack that power in a sense. You can stack those skills and be a recruiting machine at your school. You know what I'm saying? So is there going to be a meta for that? We'll have to see. All these things are kind of up in the air. But for me, still enticing and exciting to talk about of how it's all going to come together. Now, one thing I'm thinking about, like when you hire these assistants or these coordinators, do they bring their own philosophies, like, their coaching style? So of course they're tacticians, but do they have a set defense that actually works better? If you want to play 3-3-5, but he's actually, a 5-2 expert is, switching to 5-2 on your team, is that going to benefit you more, though you're more comfortable playing with, 3-3-5? That'll be something to kind of see. We don't know. But if they do bring those philosophies in, how impactful will it actually be to consider that part? So it's just a lot of things that I'm thinking about that we may have to consider that we haven't before in this game, right? But that's what it's all about, man. Like I said, this one is for the vets, man. This game is not for, the ones just jumping in my opinion. So next we're going to talk about, like, what are the play styles? What are the play styles that you want to consider bringing into their program? I know a lot of guys are thinking about running that triple op, running that flex bone, having a speedy offense, or whether you're playing aggressive and hurry up, or are you going to stay conservative? Are you, break the huddle, walk to the line, take a look at the defense and use that clock? I think those are the things that you'll have to consider. Ramsey, what's good, man? Good morning to you, brother. Happy Friday as well. Appreciate you joining, man. If you haven't liked this video yet, guys, go ahead and do so, man. Get those likes up for your boy. Subscribe to the channel. We're just talking a little bit of college football, man. A little bit about how we're going to cultivate, build our teams, cultivating a program. Because that's in essence what we're doing, It's the game within the game, man. So considering your play style, how are we going to be, I know that you can choose your playbooks. I don't think they have creative play in there, but choosing your playbooks is going to be a thing. Considering the conference that you're in, if you're in the SEC, you're going to go against a lot of big offensive linemen. You're going to go against a lot of talent in the trenches. So how you actually build that personnel for your play style is going to be big, So I forgot who said it yesterday, but the trenches will probably be the first thing that I may consider trying to build up and recruit, whether it be from the transfer portal or high school. I think that's the most important thing to keep depth in and to develop. You know what I'm saying? For me personally, what's my play style? I don't know yet. Like I said, I like a lot of hybrid positions. I think that's where football has gone to. I still love having fullbacks and tight ends. I still love having the traditional positions, but I think hybrid edges, that could play outside linebacker or rush the QB. I like seeing hybrid safeties that could play, safety, of course, but also maybe bump down to the linebacker position. Slot receivers that could play both running back and catch the ball. So a lot of things to look into, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody again in the room, man. Just leave your thoughts and comments, man. Let me know what you're thinking. How you gonna build your school, man? What are you gonna start recruiting with? Who you gonna consider first in your position groups? What's the most important position group? Is it the quarterbacks? Is it the trenches? Are you looking for speed, or are you looking for size and strength? These are things we're gonna have to see about. So we can get into that actually, man. Your personnel. That's gonna be the funnest part of this game to me, is building, calibrating, and managing your personnel groups. From the QB room, the wide receiver room, I think those rooms have to be competitive. I think you have to develop, position battles. You know what I'm saying? Definitely speed, David. Yeah, both. I think you need size and speed. And I think you have to consider size and speed depending on the positions. Does your linebackers have to be fast? Do you want them fast, or do you want them to be able to shed blocks? Are they coverage linebackers, or are they run stop linebackers? Maybe having depth for both, depending on who you're playing. If you're going to be playing, what's a team that runs the ball heavy, man? Let's say you're playing Alabama and they just got a stud at running back, and their O-line is crazy. Do you start your run stoppers this game? Do you kind of rotate those guys in a little bit more just to have that extra layer of security? You know what I mean? And then you play somebody who's going air raid or West Coast offense. Or do you then have your coverage team out there? You know what I mean? So these are things that I think 85-man rosters, man, that's crazy. 85 is enough to really flush out and flex some depth. My man Ramsey said both. Shift lock. Okay, I feel you, man. I think considering that we want to have teams that win national championships. I mean, dude, like, think about what a national championship team has. They always have a quarterback. They always win in the trenches. And I believe that in today's game, you need a good secondary. You need good coverage in the secondary. You need guys that are, a 6'2" corner. They don't have to be the biggest corner, but they need to be guys that can cover the ground in their area. Whether it's cover 3, cover 2, in the flats. Some guys that can press. So how do we recruit guys? I think recruiting specific players with specific talents. A nickel back. You hardly can't even have a defense nowadays without having a nickel guy rotating in at different points of the game. But your nickel guy, should he be more of a press coverage guy? For me personally, I would like to recruit a dude who can play a nickel with a high press rating. You know what I mean? And we'll press those slots every time to try to, slow down those slants and those drags across the middle that could pick you off. And you could really get picked off, and they could put a drive together against you, trying to cover these slots, man. So those are the things that I'm really considering as well. So shout out to you guys, man. You guys are voting up at the top. Poll is, what coaching style would you be choosing? Recruiter, motivator, tactician. 57% recruiter. I think that's pretty obvious. Most of us want to build these players up and get these guys. Motivator, 29%, tactician, 14%. I kind of feel like we're sleeping on tactician a little bit though, guys. Because at the end of the day, recruiting is fun. It's the fun element of the game. It's really exciting, the possibilities. Motivator makes sense because you're like, okay, that sounds like somebody who's gonna, as they progress in talent, motivator is the thing that's gonna help them progress faster or at a faster rate or at a higher rate. Tactician, yeah, it's like, okay, we can control the game, we can kind of control that or whatever, but I actually think tactician may have some other elements that we may not know of yet that hasn't been talked about. We'll have to see, but I'm anticipating tactician kind of encapsulating the same thing about how quarterbacks have like the vision on the field. I actually think tactician may have something to do with kind of like how we had you remember back in the old days, we had like the setup plays where if you do a play well, then it sets up or something like that. But the execution of a play and maybe even on-field ratings, maybe how it affects their drop in ratings if they're performing poorly. Bro, we don't even know yet, but linebacker needs good potential. Yeah, linebackers, man, I plan on having like a solid, maybe like five middle linebackers and about 6 or 7 outside linebackers in terms of depth. You know what I'm saying? So giving these guys healthy rotation is most important for me. You know what I mean? So, but those are some things there, man. So yeah, once again, man, appreciate everybody joining the chat, man. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, man. But yeah, there's definitely a lot to consider when I think we're cultivating programs. So again, man, what are those things that runs a program that are most important to you? For me, again, going back to playbooks, I think a lot of us like to run the multiple. We like to have a shotgun. We like to have ace, single back. We like having that good pistol formation. But is there a formation that stands out to you that's more effective than others? And I think coming from the shotgun position is fun. It gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of what you can do, running the option. But I also like running under the center still. I still like kind of run plays from under the center because there's no delay. I think the running back kind of gets downhill faster than coming from the shotgun position. Though you're able to see from the shotgun position, the offensive line create those running lanes for you. You can kind of see those develop a little bit longer. But sometimes you need to get downhill. And just depending on how, they're playing you, that's the most important. My man Juice in the building, man. He says LSU 3 times, man. Shout out to you, bro. Good morning, man. Happy Friday as well. Appreciate you joining. Man, so LSU. So who are you going to be running with? Are you running with LSU as soon as the game drops? Ramsey, who's your squad as well, man? Let me know who you're running with. And I know, like I said, I got NC State is the team I grew up liking. As you can see, I got NC State. It's like their documentary up on basically showcasing, their spring practice. And I think this is 2022. So, but yeah, so LSU, man, y'all got a tough schedule this year. Straight up. I mean, everybody at SEC does pretty much, But I'll be running with a couple schools, couple mid-major schools. I may start out with Mississippi State or Purdue or Indiana. I love to do NC State, but they got my boys rated kind of high, so I don't want to start too high. You know what I mean? LSU for online? Oh, for sure. Ball State, maybe for Dynasty. I could dig it, man. Ball State sounds good, man. I forgot where they're located. But it's time, man. It's time to develop, man. It's time to get our minds right for this game, bro, because I know I'm going to be locked in. I'm going to be streaming. And yeah, man, pretty much that's pretty much the bulk of what I wanted to talk about, man. I think when we get into creating the immersion that we want to have, man, it's important to kind of approach it with a little bit more of a stance that has, the long game in it, because like I said, this is going to be a slow grind. These dynasties definitely going to be a slow grind, man. Excuse me. Munis, Indiana. I never knew it was in Indiana. Okay. So there are more Indiana schools than I thought, man. You got Notre Dame, Ball State, Indiana, of course, and Purdue. Okay. Yeah, so they got more schools than I thought. 55% of you guys said you're going to be a recruiter when you choose this coaching style. 27% said motivator. And 18% tactician. Again, I really think we're sleeping on tactician. But motivator for me sounds like the way that I'm going to go. It sounds like the way I'm going to go. Either that or recruiter. It just depends on how it really is difficult to recruit, or how, once you get these guys in, are they really developing at the rate that you need them to develop without a motivator, Or we can stack them. Like they said, man, if you get 3 recruiters that can stack, you'll be able to put a fence around your state and get those in-state guys for sure. You know what I mean? That's what I'm anticipating, man. So yeah, man. So listen, bro, I'm not gonna stay on too much longer, but just want to talk a little bit, man, just about, I think building a program is fun. I think it's has a lot to do with, your philosophy as a coach. And I don't think most of the time we approach video games with this level of, nerdiness or whatever you want to call it. But for me, I think it's the funnest part of what makes it immersive. And that is thinking like a coach. That is understanding what coaches do when they come into these programs and they have to turn these ships around. You know what I'm saying? They have to rebuild Rome. So it takes a little time. Some of these coaches, it takes them 2 to 3 years before they get over the hump. But bring that philosophy in. What's your program standard? Are we playing fast? Are we more of a conservative? Are we a bigger team? Are we a faster team? Are we a balanced team? What do I believe in having assistant coaches? I believe in having motivators. I believe in coaches that can execute plays well and have strategy as tacticians. Or I believe in always, staying on the cutting edge of the talent and recruiting the best talent and always, taking them off of the market. So even if they leave, we were able to get them first. So the games within the games, fellas. So listen, man, appreciate everything again, man. I appreciate you guys joining in. This is a short one, but happy Friday, man. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I know we got a lot of news dropping next week. I think we have some news dropping today on the power rankings of the team. So we'll definitely have to go check that out as soon as it drops, if it already hasn't. And yeah, man, appreciate it, man. As always, tap in next week. I'll be here Monday. Got some more things to talk about. We'll probably be going over recruiting and diving a little bit deeper on that. But definitely can't wait for this deep dive to come out so I can stop speculating. You know what I'm saying? All right, fellas. Have a good one, man. Be safe. I'll see you later. Peace.